today I wanted to talk to you about traditions and rituals. A ritual is something that you repeat. An action, a mantra, something, a behavior that you repeat intentionally, usually on a daily basis, maybe on a weekly basis. But the point of it is to draw your attention to certain things, or to remind you of certain things, or to impress certain points upon you. Points that are easily forgotten, points that need careful and constant reminding. And so this is crucial for me because everything in my philosophy and everything in my belief system is counterintuitive, and it goes against much of my 30 plus years of conditioning. So I need lots of reminders, and I need lots of reinforcement, constant reinforcement. Because if I don't pay attention and if I don't think about this stuff, it's going to slip away and I'm going to return to my old state of being. And I have no desire to do so. Therefore, rituals and traditions are hugely important. Now, a ritual is something that is, I would say, repeated on a very regular basis. Daily, weekly, maybe monthly. Whereas a tradition is something that you repeat maybe annually. I feel like maybe that's the difference between a ritual and a tradition. You know, like Christmas comes once a year, that's a tradition. But if you're a Muslim, there is a daily ritual where you pray 3 times a day. So to me, that's kind of the distinction that I draw. But I'm not looking at a dictionary definition, folks. I have no clue. Maybe I'm totally off on that. But regardless, rituals and traditions fulfill the same function. They're reminders. They're reinforcement. They are support. And by performing the rituals as prescribed, the idea is that you're putting something at the front of your mind, or you're reinforcing something. And so for us, in my family, we've created our own rituals, and we've taken certain traditions that already existed and we've converted them, we've subverted them, we've corrupted them, if you will, and made them our own. We've taken the parts of the rituals and the ceremonies that we don't like, and we've replaced them with parts that make sense to us. So let me give you 3 examples of traditions and rituals that my family and I have either modified or just straight up invented for ourselves. Well, actually, not just my family. There's one of these that's strictly mine. My family probably will never do it, and that's the one I'm going to start off with. Ritual number 1, the morning icy cold shower. This is something I started back in January, and I've been doing it every weekday since. So 5 days a week, I start my day off by taking an icy cold shower. The last time I told a friend about this, his question was, why? Which is a valid question. And the reason that I do this is as a reminder. It's actually not a reminder for me, it's a reminder for my body and for my mind. And the reminder is, don't forget who's in charge, motherfuckers. Don't forget who's in charge, because every morning my body and my mind shriek at me. They go, no, don't turn it on, please. Sometimes my mind's a little bit more eloquent. Sometimes my mind goes, you don't really need to do this today. Come on, just go and get dressed. You don't have time. There's not enough time. You're going to miss your bus, or you're going to be late for work. And to that I say, and I turn on that freezing cold water. It's an exercise of will for me. It's a reminder that I'm in charge. It's not my body that's in charge. It's not my mind that's in charge. It's me. Whatever I happen to be, I'm the one who runs the show. And there's nothing like an icy cold shower first thing in the morning to remind your body of that fact. The second one that I want to tell you about is a family tradition, and it's once a year on Earth Day. Now, Earth Day was just yesterday as of time of recording, so every Earth Day, my family and I, we go out, we buy a fruit tree of some kind, and then we go and we plant it in our yard. And so yesterday we bought a plum tree that has 5 different kinds of plums on it, and that's what we did. We came home from church, we bought the tree, we went into the backyard as a family, and we just started doing some gardening work. And I dug the hole and we planted the tree. And we also planted some lavender and some other plants for the kids. So basically Earth Day for us is giving back to nature, planting something in our yard that's going to produce, that's going to give sustenance and life to other creatures, including ourselves. So I think that's a good reminder on Earth Day. And the last ritual I wanted to share with you, I've mentioned before in these videos, and it is my nightly communion with the moon and stars. As I mentioned before, this is something I try to do, weather permitting, every night. I step out onto my deck and I just try to spend a few mindful moments with the heavens. And I've been doing this for quite some time as well. I find that it's excellent for decompressing at the end of a long and often chaotic day. And it also serves as a reminder. I believe the time I told you about this, I was sharing a quote from the creator of Calvin and Hobbes. And it had something to do with, I wonder what the world would be like if people took the time to stare up at the stars every night. Maybe then they'd realize there's more important things than the petty bullshit that you're dealing with, right? It wasn't quite like that. I'm paraphrasing, but that was the quote that I read, and that is indeed one of the effects of this nightly ritual of mine. It really puts things into perspective. If I'm feeling any kind of residual stress about anything, usually staring up at the heavens for a few minutes and just being present is enough to dissolve all of those concerns and worries. So, very effective for me. I have lots of other rituals. My family and I, we observe lots of other traditions. But I just want to share those with you quickly because until very recently, I didn't see the point in rituals and traditions. And in fact, I felt a lot of scorn for especially Christmas as a tradition, but traditions as a whole. I just thought it was like blindly following your, forefathers. And I felt like it was a pretty wretched and weak-minded approach to living. But I clearly changed my mind on this, and I was totally wrong. So don't be offended. I don't think that you're a weak-minded, blind follower or anything like that. That was the old Ollie. This Ollie that you're watching right now sees the value in ritual and sees the value in tradition. Of course, I try to make it my own, or my family tries to make it its own, but that's neither here nor there. The purpose or the function of ritual and tradition is valid and important nonetheless. So whatever traditions and rituals you observe, I hope you will continue to do so. And I hope that they serve you well, because if they don't, maybe you should think about changing rituals or converting them like my family and I did. But anyways, food for thought. I'm going to head into the office, so thank you for joining me, and don't forget to live well.